To try the questions like that, let me tell the language it speaks for that matter. And the language is something like this. If I go here, for example, I can always say value by category, price by category. So always mention the value first, the number column appears first, and the category appears after that. So we have to say the language something like this. Sale by product, sale by customer, sale by dealer. We don't say customer sale. It is not customer sale, it's my sale. It's my company's sale. And the sale by customer announces it more properly rather than saying customer sale in that case. That's much better. That's how it works. That's the way it really counts for me and gets my data across. You can keep experimenting that and you'll see wonders are there in this report available over here. A quick shot. I could have given that to you on day one only. That is, finish the training in half an hour and just finish the closure over there. But no, we got to learn many things across that. And finally see what are the best ways to create the reports in that case. And let's see some really amazing ways to create the reports in that case going forward. So let's be here. The first is my summary, for example. So these are the tabs we got available over here. I can go to that tab and go back to my field settings. If I want my field setting columns to appear in an alphabetical order, I can try this and say A to Z, and I can see A to Z. Or I can go back to the data source order, apply like that. Or I can go here and try to see the quantity, for example, which I can see, of course, over here. But suppose I can't see the number of columns more. I can write quantity and I can see quantity here. That's quite easy. The 4 sections relate to the sections over here for row, column, filter, and value. This part completely creates a summary always. The default is this only. That's a summary portion. For the pivot table, that's a summary portion. I'm telling you third time here because I want us to revise everything. I want all of us to revise everything and be conversant with the terms pivot speaks, Excel speaks for that matter. Okay, so let's create that right now. If I click on the dealer here, for example, I can see it straight goes to the row section. I can drag out and try to drag manually also like this and take the quantity like this and see the report created over here. And please create right now with me. And you will notice that in my case, I got my dealer available already in this case. You might be getting row labels. Some people might be getting the dealer name also here, dealer caption here. But most of the people might still be getting row label over here. How to get that automatically? But in the first place, how to change that? That's too big. Let's make it smaller. That's better. Yep. First things first, when you make a pivot table, for example, in case you've not made that so far, what I've done here is I've gone to the base table here. Let's cross it. I've gone to the base table here. I want to the insert option, pivot table option. It picks up the entire data automatically. I can then go to OK in this case, go to new sheet. Always try to work on the new sheet. That's a better idea. And once you reach over here, for example, then you can try to work on dealer. Click on the dealer that goes right to the row section over here. Then click on the quantity that goes right over here. And I can see the caption appearing automatically. In case it is not so for your case, I'll tell you how to do that automatically. Then make a selection. The first thing is this. Always make the pivot table. Make a selection from the top like that and expand the selection like this so it becomes a wider one. A lot of times, if you remember having done the work on pivot table, and I've seen everybody work on pivot table. Okay. So if I try to see that over here, you will often see that when I change a function over here, many times the pivot table will refresh and reset the column headings in this case, but not in my case. In my case, I've got my caption correct over here, and my function change does not reset the column width in that case like this. Right click, sum, min, it's the same column width. Can you see that over there? It's the same column width. I'm pressing Ctrl Z to go back. How does that work? Let's try to see these 3 options. Number 1, right click, pivot table options. Autofit column width on update is already off in my case. That is why autofit is not happening on the update of the pivot table. auto fit is not happening in my case because I've switched it off permanently. How, I'll tell you shortly. Second, my label appears automatically. How, I'll tell you shortly. But how to get the label right now? To get the label right now, I can go to the data tab. I can go design tab here. If you don't find these two options here, that means you're somewhere outside over here. Click in the pivot table, go to the design tab, report layout, show in tabular form. You might see something like this. You got to convert that to this one over here, tabular form. So you go to the design tab. In case you can't find this also, you can find this over here. In case you cross this by mistake, for example, you can right click here, field settings, or you can go here, field settings, get this back. To get this label here, you can go to design type here, report layout, tabular form. How to set that permanently? How to set this permanently? Let me tell you. The option is here. This might not be available in the versions which are not 365 or the version older than 2019. It will not be available there. In case the version is below 2019 or not 365, this option might not be there. You can please try this. I'm telling you the option right now. We got to make some setting changes right now. So I can go to File, Options, Data tab, Edit Default Layout, Report Layout, Show in Tabular Form. That's what it works with. Let me show you where the option is. So File, Options, File, Options, Data tab here, Edit Default Layout here, and the window will change now. This window will disappear, another window will appear. That's the new window here. Report layout, show in tabular form, pivot table options, uncheck auto fit column widths on update. Uncheck auto fit column widths on update. Apply, show in tabular form. Click OK. OK again. And next time onwards, you'll find that your pivot report will never have the auto fit option on. In that case, it will be off always. This one will be off always. And next time when you make a pivot report, for example, you'll find the label automatically over there. So that's the way the setup of pivot table works. So I've seen my first report play the role over here. For the best report presentation, I should always take care that my numeric column should have the heading on the right side. And when I go for summaries, for example, I can right click and see my summary here. Summarize by count, average, min, max. My best summary report is here. I can create a count. That's a count. I can create a min. That's the smallest value. And that's the highest value. That's what we can find over here. But if I want my count and sum together, for example, I can try like this. Sum, for example, drag the quantity and get the quantity here. I get the quantity here also. Right click on the first one. Summarize value by count. In that case, I get the count available. I can keep this as a count here. This one as a total. Right line, keep the gap here. That's a settings option. I told you that. That's my summary report. And this is quantity by dealer. That's my first report available there. Now I can see the filters not here, for example, but I can see a filter here. What if I need to apply the filter here? I have the filter option available over here. If I go inside, for example, value filters, more than, I can see count, as well as total over here. Filter is there, so I can apply that over here. If you still want the filter buttons over there, you can go down like this, press Ctrl Shift L. You see the filter buttons here also. Anywhere across this, you can press Ctrl Shift L. You create the filter buttons over here. Anywhere. Not here. This will not work. This will not work. I have to apply it along with the pivot table like that. And then the buttons over there. That's why basic summary report that is available here. Anytime I can go here and try to clear the count away, for example, and get my data available like that. If I happen to apply the average in this case, for example, like this, I can see multiple decimals over here. If I go for 1 here and try to apply my clear decimal, that will happen to 1 only. And if I right click on this one and try to apply format cells, that will also work on 1 only. If I apply here, only on 1. But if I try, for example, number format, the same option that you see in the number tab here is the same option you see in the number format here, single number tab only. Go to number, apply 0 here, and entire column will get that without selecting the entire column. That's a better way to apply my decimals to 0. Return back to the sum. In this case, get the sum over here. So I've got some targets available. I've got some methods available by which I can really follow on the charts also. We'll discuss the charts later. If I want to make another pivot table here, for example, I don't have to go to source and make one once again. No, I don't have to go there. I have to go here only. Create a copy of this like this and work on my cross-tab pivot table. Control C to copy that. That's a summary I told you. Keep a gap of 4 to 5 lines. 6 plus 4 is 20. I click here and press Enter to paste that. That's a cross-tab here. And cross-tab is, for example, I've got my sections here, filter, column, row, and value. So row and column contains a category and value contains a number. So in this case, I say, okay, fine. I want to have a cross-tab using dealer and the region. So I'll say cross-tab by quantity by dealer and region over here. Region goes here like this, and I get my cross-tab available like that. This is because my line is there. The blank line is there somewhere here. So I can clear that like this. Control minus, delete that. Go back. Refresh is Alt F5. Refresh is Alt F5. I can refresh that and that's fine. Refresh is Alt F5 in pivot table. That's the way I can control it, for example. Additionally, if I want, I can try the function 365 in this case. That's a function 365. So this one is a cross-tab using a pivot table, but I'll try the cross-tab using a pivot function now. So I can work with this like this. I can try, for example, equal to pivot by. Pivot by. Some of you might not have the function available with you. It's perfectly fine. At least we should know what the function is about. Row, column, value, and the function. I want these headings over there. Row, for example, is my dealer. Column is a region. Value is my quantity. So I go pivot by like that. Go to the source. Control Shift down arrow. That's my dealer. Like this. Comma. I then pick up the range. That is region. Control Shift down arrow. That's a region. Comma. I want to pick up my quantity. That is a quantity here. Control Shift down arrow quantity. Then a comma. Pick up sum. Close the bracket. Press enter. But with the same data available, isn't it? 1, 8, 96270. Same data here. That's a pivot by function available in Excel. If it is not there with you right now, you'll get it soon. So that's what I've mentioned over here. That is my pivot table function available there. And that is live, by the way. That is live because that's a function. It has to be live, isn't it? It has to be obviously live in this case.
Okay, so my question is like, right now you have pivot table on, a row number ending with row number 36. Okay, but maybe just add one more field here. Let's say product code, right?
In this case,
yeah, in this case. So normally, like, if my rows are going to next for the rows, I get a message that you have data on.
Overlap. Yeah, that's a hierarchy table. If I try to do that here, it will not allow me that.
Yes.
Overlap appears.
Yeah. So it can be adjusted automatically or something we have to do it manually?
No, we have to create a space here.
So we have to create a space manually only, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, because like, this is something I faced because when I have more than one pivot table on my same sheet. So sometimes to review data, I get this message and every time I have to make manual adjustments. So there is no way I can do it automatically.
You will get this message only in this case when you try to add something to the row side over here.
That's correct.
To add something row side here, only then you'll get the message.
Yes,
because it's going to expand here, it's going to expand here. And there's something else over here, it will not be able to overlap that. That is why the message appears.
Okay.
And I can't do anything automatic to that. I cannot do. I have to create the space here.
Okay, understood. Yeah, I thought there is a way to adjust the space automatically.
No.
Okay, that's right.
No.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so that's a cross tab with the pivot table function also and with the pivot table feature also. And that's a summary report. I do a copy here and try to create a hierarchy in this case. And that's where we have a issue of that overlap of the option available. Hierarchy is always adding to the row side in that case. So as I apply that over here, for example, I want to apply, for example, the change here. Let's have a change here. I want to apply the product group here. With that, I want the region over here. That's a sweet little hierarchy I can see in this case, and that's what I can apply in this case. That's a hierarchy. That goes for overlap. So if I have my table up to here, for example, that sweetly expands the moment I add some other group entry to my row section.
Hey, ZaranTech now offers SAP corporate training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features? Bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
To expand it needs more space, and there is no way I can really expand that automatically in this case. So LMS does not have the pivot by because this feature came quite recently. That's why this feature might not be explicitly mentioned there, but it is mentioned over there. Pivot by is there. So that's how we can have the hierarchy available there. Now going further, for example, if I go for the month-wise display, for example, I can pick up the data like that. Month-wise display. That's a summary again. Summary is very popular for many other reports available. Month-wise. So I can go here and pick up the data like this and like this and like this. I can see month-wise. This is a very good candidate for the line chart. For the line chart, this is a very good candidate. So I'll come to the charts shortly and tell you what are the charts and how do you work on charts also. I'm right now trying to complete some part of the pivot table right now over here and show you some extension on that. Next, I can try something called a gap analysis in pivot table. How to apply a gap analysis in pivot table, for example. So I'll pick up a copy of this. I hope I'm not going too fast over here. So this one is basically the summary. This one is a cross tab. This one is a cross tab with the function over here. Same thing. This one is a hierarchy that we can see, and that shows me 2 columns over here and 1 value over here. And this one is a copy of above table only with the month here and the value here. Let's try the gap analysis. How can I get the gap analysis in pivot table like this? So I pick it out, bring that in. The highest sale is incidentally on the top only 62, highest sale over here, 48, 46, 32. I want to see the gap analysis over here. What do I do in that case? I can drag it here, for example, and see 2 copies over here. Go to the second copy. This part I've covered with you already. I'm going here now. There are so many options. We'll cover other options in detail later. But right now, I can have the difference from. I can have the difference from in terms of real numbers, but that will not be more indicative to my gap, actually speaking. The gap will be more indicative by going to the percent difference from over here. And that is what I see in this case. It says region north. You want to compare with north? No, I would like to compare with east because that is the highest value. North shows because I'm on that cell right now. If I'm here, for example, and right click and go to show values as percent difference from, it shows me west over here because I'm on west right now. So I have to choose this as east in this case. That's my comparison. And that is what is a good gap analysis. So in this case, I'm seeing the total quantity. This basis percent gap. Between east and east, there is no gap. It shows nothing. So north is 21% away from east. South is 26% away from east. And west is 48% away from east. That is a gap analysis. What have I done, by the way? I simply got my quantity twice over here. Right click on the second copy. Show values as percent difference from. That's what we apply over here. Get the answer available there. Pick up the highest category over here. Region is my base field over here. And base item is my topmost item over here. Apply that over here and find the answer there. And that's some percent gap that we can find. In case you're still interested to find the difference in the numbers, you can add that to give us support to that. But percent difference is much more indicative, and that should at least always be there. That's what I'm aware with. That doesn't make much sense, but in case that makes sense to some people, we can apply this also. This is number gap. This is percent gap from the region, from the product, from the month, from the year, from the quarter. I can follow that also. So we can apply this in this manner for that purpose. Let's try to work on some charts also and some pivot table details also. I've given you some basics only on the pivot table. Sometimes when I want to make a calculated column, for example, on this, I might have to go to a calculated column to create my next target available, for example. This is a combined performance for 3 years, for example. That might be the case. But suppose my next 3 years should be a bigger target, or let's say if I go for some percentage upwards on that, for example. How can I talk about this? I can then go to this option here, pivot table analyze, fields, items and sets, calculated field, apply the target. Field should be quantity plus 10,000. What was the quantity plus 10,000? Or let's say 20,000. Add, that goes here. That's my target. That goes here, and that will go here. Target, you can see that over here. That goes here, and that shows me target. So that's a new. Double click on that, shows me the detail of that, for example. And going back here, shows me the number here. So I can right click and go to number format. 0 again, apply that over here. That should be fine. Let's see that here. That works absolutely fine. So I can have a calculated field. How do I get that over here? I can go back to this and try to clear and get that back again. How to clear that? I got to make a selection. That's it. I got to make a selection from here, target, and delete it from here. It's gone. It's gone from here. It's gone. To get that here, for example, I can try to go to fields, calculated field, apply target, or price upgrade. For example, 3 years, there's no price upgrade. So price up, for example, new price, current price, plus 200 in general as a value I'm trying to say, and that goes over here, and that goes over here. It doesn't make sense over here, but then we can have it the way we had it earlier. And does it apply here also? Yes, it applies here also. It applies here also. Does it go back to my base table? No, it doesn't. It does not go to my base table. I only have my base table as my base table. There is no change on that. It doesn't go reverse in that case, but goes forward in that case and applies over here in this case. That's what we can find. So I can uncheck that and have the simple table available. Sometimes I want to apply the calculation on the pivot table. I apply like this, equal to this, and I find get pivot data. Why am I not getting get pivot data here? That function called get pivot data. Why am I not getting that? I am not getting that because I've done some setting over here. What is the setting I've done? Let me show you. Click there, go to Analyze tab, Options, Generate Get Pivot Data is unticked over here. If I click on that, it will be ticked again, like this. I go back and verify the tick is there. If I go back and verify over here, equal to, I go to the cell, it is Get Pivot Data again. So now, so to make it work like Excel, what do I do? Escape, go to the pivot table. That's a permanent setting. Go there, Options, untick this by clicking the option here. It will untick now. Go back to verify. Yes, it is unticked. Click outside. Check this. Equal to, I can see that it is unticked over here. That's how it is workable. So I can have a formula available there. We saw that earlier. I can have an auto fit column width on update off in that case so that it doesn't auto fit every time. I can have my generate get pivot data not allowed in this case by going to the option over there. I can then apply the filters by going to click over here or see the filters right in this case. That's what I can see.
One more question. If I want to reference, like, how is the total percentage, let's say alpha agency, okay? So what is the total percentage of contribution for alpha agency against total, not grand total? Can I do so?
Yeah, I can get quantity over here. So let's clear this. Right click on that. Show values as percent of column total. In this case, this will also work, but I can work with this. And that shows me percent of column total like that. Alpha agency is 9.37% of the grand total.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, if I have the target available here, for example, I can try this. If I create a column chart here for this section, in this case, for example, Alt F1 is a column chart, and I get the column chart like that. Alt F1 shortcut for column chart is Alt F1. Column chart shortcut is Alt F1. When I get to a column chart, I get this like this, for example. I can then try to set up my controls over here. Right click on the button, hide all field buttons. Click on the legend. I don't want that. It's a single series available. What is a series in that case? A numeric column is a series in the table. That is my numeric column. That is my numeric column. This is called a series over here. See, it says series over here, right? It says series over here. So because it is a single one, I don't require that. I'm just declaring that. It has taken that also by default because it's a whole table. But when I try to align my table, for example, the chart I'm saying, I can hold the Alt key and align that with the resize buttons. It aligns to cell borders only. If I don't hold the Alt key, it can float anywhere and stop anywhere. I can stop between the two rows, between the two columns. But if I hold the Alt key and resize, it will stop on the cell borders only. This is what I'm getting, the blue chart everywhere. But I want to consider, for example, the target in this case differently. For example, I want to say that the target is, for example, 180, for example. Let's keep it 180 is there. Let's keep it 175. 175. We require 3 zeros, right? That's okay. That's my target. So to differentiate between what is the target I'm getting, if it is matching or not, I can have the target set over there. I'll keep it over here for the time being there. And I see my green bar is to be different. And the orange bar is to be different. So I announce that over here. This color green will not help me. I'm just trying to separate it like that, for example. So I will say, for example, if this value is more than equal to this target. So I press lock F4 to lock it, then comma, give me this value. Otherwise, we don't give a 0 in this case. 0 will plot the graph in the charts. 0 will plot the graph over there. So I don't want to plot the graph on 0. I can then say apply NA over there. NA means there is no value there. A no value is indicated by a NA in the table, but not by a 0. 0 will plot the graph over there. I don't want that. There'll be a dip in the graph. I don't want the dip in the graph. I want the graph to go straight like that, and I drag it like that, and I position that right. Then I go here. If, for example, this is less than this value here, I can lock it. Then give me this value, else give me NA again. Perfect. I'll pick up these two over here. So this went a little far. Let me just delete that. I'll pick up this over here. Now press Alt F1. So I see the green and the blue, then the orange and the blue, sorry. So in this case, these three are basically blue. So I can click on that and go to the format, apply that as green. These are meeting the target. Okay. I can overlap that here. The formula is given over here. The formula is given over here. I can overlap that here, for example, and build my custom chart over here. Build my custom chart over here. So it shows me with the proper target available there. And this series I can change to have my actual names available. Right click and select data. Go to edit option there. Apply the series like that. And the series shows me here. Same thing. But that's meeting the target. Let's go by 170. Many of these meeting the target right now. So I have done this thing over here. I've got my formula done here. If my value is more than the target here, then give me the value, else give me NA. If it is less, then give me the value, else NA. Alternatively, the values appear over there. I apply Alt F1 to get my chart available, and then plot the chart right away, change the color blue to green, and go to select data over here. Apply the edit section here, then pick up my range from here and apply that. That gives me a good chart available. Title can be also connected with the chart here. Dealer chart, for example. Suppose this is my title. Click that, press enter. The title goes right over here. So that is modify again. Modify, it modifies. Control Z, it's Control Z. So the chart is connected. How do I do that? Click on the chart title, press equal to, and click on the cell, and the connection is there. That's my basic chart available in this form, and my custom chart available in this form. Apply some format controls and try to see how best the chart can display, and apply that as per your choice. The values can change, axis can change, and we can apply a custom chart made on the target in that case. In this case, I can pick up my data and apply some condition formatting over here and work with color scales are good method to define my condition format in this case. And we can see that this West is not doing very well. East is doing very well over here. And I can find that so clearly with the condition formatting in my pivot table. Color scale is a good option to apply the heat map available in this case. So my presentation of the report becomes even better in this case. Every company has the targets. I can present the target in a simple column chart. I can present target in simple column chart over here. And the comparisons that are shown over here, of course, I can have the labels also in this case. Data labels above is outside and is better always. And we can always turn the labels there. We know that very well. Charts are being quite an easy option. Even the regular option, if not so easy, but regular option, we can find that easily. So this column shows me is doing pretty well. That's what I can find. If my product or my dealer, I want to find that out over here, I can click on this, go to formatting. This is what column F. Okay. So I go to formatting, manage rules over here, and go there and try to this. If I press a left arrow, what happens? I get the cell number. I don't want that. That's confusing, isn't it? Cancel that. Try that again. There we are. In the formula bar in conditional formatting, text to column, data validation, pivot table, charts, these are formula bars. Simply press function key F2 to travel through the formula. F2, I press a left arrow and now it's so easy. So I can go left and write the F over here. That's column F in this case, included in my range. Okay. And you can see it shows the range like that. But because it is a grand total and very close, I can't see a good distinction in my data. Control Z, and I can see more distinction in my data here. So any cross tab can be a good highlight with a color scale condition formatting. Any cross tab can be a good highlight with the color scale formatting. That's what I can really get nice in this case. Hierarchy chart, I'm not saying this is meant for this. I'm not saying that. But with the color scale, it's a good way to highlight the distinct data that is across my two sections, rows and columns, two sections. That's a copy. If I go for hierarchy there, I can create a bird chart. Bird chart is represented by two ways in different companies. So I'm giving you one simple way, which is more closer to bird chart as well as we know it. Okay. It's again a column chart as we see in this case. In this case, for example, if I see that contribution that you saw here earlier, I'll see that here again, for example. So I'll pick up my contribution again. I can't see my field list in that case. I can right click and get the field list over here and pick up my quantity once again and have the percent of column total. And we can find that over here. That's a total here and that's a total here. Then I can see that's what I find. Suppose I want the percent of this in this case. What do? I go here, percent of grand total, no, percent of no, parent total. This shows me 100% here. That's what I get correctly. This is 100% over here. So percent of parent total is basically the total I'm looking for. The earlier one was the entire total over here. So I'm seeing the total is like 35% is 183 of 521. That is 35%. So if I try this over here, for example, this might be a different chart. And the one that I tried earlier, this is percent of parent total, by the way. To view that, what is that I've applied over here, I can go here and see the tick mark shows over here. So if I try that word chart here, Alt F1, for example, I get the chart here. Hold the Alt key and resize. Right click on the button, hide. Click on the legend and delete. Extend the chart further. Whenever you find a chart with the basic number and the percentage there, that means that's a candidate to a combo chart in Excel. That's a candidate to combo chart in Excel. Whenever you find the percentage available there, be it revenue, be it deduction, be it depreciation, be it the percentage of the number only. If you see a percentage here and the number here, that means this number is below 1. Because 100% is equal to 1, we know that very well. 100% mathematically is equal to 1. So if I see something like 34 point something as percentage, for example, then that means 34%, that is 0.34 of 1. That is 0.34 of 1, even less than 1. How can that get plotted over here? 0.34 of 1 is like between 0 and 1. It won't get plotted here. That is why it's a combo chart requirement. So whenever I see a big value here and a small value here, a contrasting value here, I should be looking for a combo chart. And a combo chart is not a single chart. We got to combine the chart here like this. So I can go here I can right-click, go here, format cells, the number format, and try to apply 0 in this case, and that makes sense. Perfect. And I can go to this one, right-click and say, change series chart type. Series is what I told you. That's a series. That's a series. Change series chart type. And do not change the chart type. No. Change the series chart type here, please. That's a series chart type here. My second series, which is my percentage here, for example, I can modify the label here. Percent of product group. That's sum of quantity. So I can go here, right click, series chart type, product group, go there. Fourth option is a better option, line with markers. That's a better option.
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP corporate training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
Secondary axis, that's what we see. And now we come to the bird chart. Having done that, for example, what have I done, by the way? I simply created a chart, Alt F1 over here. Resize it over here. Right click on the buttons over here and hide them. Click the legend, clear them. Right click on the series. Change series chart type. Fourth option in the line. Secondary axis. Okay. The gap that you see between the parent entries, that's a parent entry, that's a sub entry. The gap that you see here is a gap I want to attempt on. So I go right between the gap over here and click on the line over here once and once again. Second time I click once again over here and I see one marker selected. I can then go to the format, shape outline, apply no outline. That line is gone. Go right above the gap over here, click once only to see that marker selected. Then go to same option again, go there, click on that, same option again, and we can see that is a bird chart. These are wings of the bird available there. That's a bird chart available. That's what a bird chart. I saw a step chart somewhere some time ago, and they were calling that to the bird chart. I didn't want to comment on that, but somebody else commented that this is slightly away from the bird chart. I said, okay, fine. What I'm thinking is probably fine. So this is a bird chart that is available over here. We can then always keep your creativity on. If you can't use your creativity, it's difficult to find hardcore professionals. We can't go to creativity. Then we can try this option and see creativity can come from here. And you can change the creativity there also and say, no, I want a dark gray color in this case as a background in this case. Maybe I want just dark gray color. So my creativity applies now. Then I got to go there again, click on that again like that, line again. Because that option is chosen earlier for no fill, I can click on that once again and get the answer. Again over here, get the answer. Again over here, and get the answer like that. That's a quick shot on the word chart available over there. Labels is quite easy. We can go and click on the labels and find the labels over here. These are the labels that we apply. If the labels are too big, for example, over here, apply this outside end. So if I click on this series over here, I can say center. Click on the labels and right click on that and go to format. So right click on any element in the chart and the format option appears at the bottom or second last option. Click on that. Go to the alignment here change that to rotation, and that's how the numbers show. If the numbers are too big, don't click the number and try to modify that. Click the series here, and modify that. Right click, axis options, and the options show me the options here, display units, convert that to millions, and that's 0. That's not a good idea. Thousands, that's a fair idea. So I can see that here. How did I go there? I can label my labels over here by going to the option here. Click on that. If you can't find a plus sign there, sometimes you can go to the design tab, and all the options are here, which you don't see here sometimes. You can see all the options here. Data labels inside center. Center is fine. That's okay. And I can click on the labels. No, I can click on the axis. Right click on the axis, go to format axis, then apply the display units and change that. That will work fine, only for one chart at one time. In the case of a line chart, whatever line chart is there, click on the labels. Try to display the labels above or below. That's a better option. Above or below. Usually above is the best option in the case of line chart. That's how we can see. That's a combo chart available and a good candidate for the hierarchy in this case. I don't say you make it always. If there is no percentage here, but two of the combinations are here, then combo is not required. We can make a column chart in that case, or a bar chart in that case. That's what we can try. Month-wise, when you talk about the period, for example, quarters, years, or month-wise, for example, always trust on line chart. Line chart. Line chart. Let me now tell you why line chart 4 I chose earlier. See, if I go for the line chart here, and this is my first option here, let me guide you on the charts right away. It will be a little bigger jump on the charts right away, but a food for the thought will be there with you. So when you come across the charts thereafter, for example, some thought will go your mind and you'll realize that why we discussed that on that day. I'm sure you will remember some part of it. It's slightly bigger, but I want to mention that here and not miss the opportunity, never know meet again or not. So I'm just trying to give you that thought in your mind so that you can remember that, and that will give you a good idea about how charts play. Have a look at this. A small diversion from line chart right now, but an important one. Have a look at this. If I go for the charts over here, please see that I see a stack chart over here. A stack 100% over here. So after the first chart, I get a stack and 100% over here. First chart, stack, 100% stack, one more 3D. First chart, stack, 100% stack. First chart, stack, 100% stack. Therefore, if you understand the meaning of the first chart, which is quite simple to understand here, and the difference between the stack and the 100% stack, then all of these become easier to you. Yes. And you'll start demanding, I want a 100% stack or a stack. I'll come back to the explanation of that. If that sounds a little too much for you, skip it immediately. Don't keep it in your mind. Keep the rest in your mind, which we have done in 2 days. But I'll give you the input shortly after the line chart. So coming to the line chart here, for example, you will notice that the first is a standard line chart. This is stack, 100% stack. Line chart with markers, stack, 100% stack. So the series is basically replicating by just these two options, stack and 100% again. Okay. The reason I'm choosing the fourth option here is when I create a line chart like this, look at the line chart below in the preview, you'll see there's this continuous line over there. And if I do not plot my markers with the line chart, it's quite likely that I'm possibly going to skip my changes in the chart over there. Although I can see my plot at the bottom with the month names over there. But if I look at the chart solely, for example, and my focus is on the chart only, I might miss the chart turns over there. I might miss the chart turns over there. Therefore, I apply with markers. Makes more sense. I can then go here. Alt and resize. There we are. Single series don't require legend in that case. Click and delete that. Right click, hide the buttons over here. Delete that as well. Get this over here. Imagine, we've got a line chart here. Labels always above is a good option. I told you in the case of line, that's a good option. If the series is too high, you can go to right click the axis over here like this and go to the display over here units. In that case, create thousands like that, for example. That makes sense. I can then see the design idea from Excel, and that is here. This one. How do I create that? That's nice. How do I create that? Let's go back. We can create it like this. We can go here, design, all charts, lines, drop lines. Same here as here, drop lines. And I'll create a better one then. Cross it, stretch it further. This one, font color white, better. Lines to be lighter. For the lighter lines, I might make it darker, for example. Maybe it can disappear only. So I can click on the lines and delete that over here. That's okay, drop lines. That's better. This line, 3D. So we get the creativity as we go along. Line with more weight, for example. That's better. That's what we see. So line chart with the drop line. There can be line chart for the attendance also. Yep. Quick shot. Let's have a quick shot. Let's still have time. So I can go to teamwork, for example. I got my teams here. Anaida, James, Sujay, Pooja, Davis. I've got some names over here. So I put one name here, for example, and try to apply this over here. Say, for example, 1, 2, select the 2, drag it, or I can simply apply this also. I can apply sequence over here, equal to sequence. Say 30 days, 30, for example. So there are some weekends also. Keep that for the weekend. And we've got 30 days, some odd days to come and go. And type 10 over here. And then double click on this. And the flat line chart appears something like this. We go here. Where's the line chart? In my case, it's here. That's a cool line chart. So if this person is on the leave on this day, we write a 0 here, and that's a leave. If this person is on a half day on this day, I can see it's a half day. And a quick, cool way to see when my person was on a leave. 2 leaves or 1.5 leaves, so clear. I go here and mark 0 in that case, and that's what we see. So I had done this session some 2 years back in Brazil, for example. The senior managers told that, okay, I'll have my team working with me, for example. I'll keep their names over here and keep the attendance record like that. Then he also said that I like the idea since they work in Excel all the time. So he kept another sheet available for his children, for example. So when did my children not go to the school? So when I go for the meeting in the school, for example, I can see the data and try to understand, okay, my child did not go to school on these days. That was a good takeaway. So that's the way we can have attendance feedback available with the line chart. Simple days available here, and the simple number available here, and then the given dip in that case. However, back to Excel. So we got this over here. On the line, I've got one more option. You'll think I'm too much on line, for example. That's not the case. Other charts are equally good. But if I have, for example, the data set available with my group entries and my product group entries and my customers available. So I'll keep this over here. Right click and go to field list, product group, and customer entries over here. Overlap appears because the space is not sufficient. So I can probably select Ctrl+Shift+ R for row, enter, and that's fine. I think overlap will still appear. Ctrl+Shift+ R for enter, and that's fine. That should be fine. So I need, for example, the customer over here and get that over here. That's fine. So I can convert that pivot table to a simple table, because for that line panel, I need a simple table available. Control A, Control C, Control Shift V is a paste special values. Control Z, in fact, I don't want my totals. So I can go there, right click and say no totals here. And the no total here. Control A, Control C, Control Shift V, that's what we get. A click and a click and a click here with Control key, insert row, for example. And what is the top value? 192840. So let's keep it 2 3 times 0. So let's keep it here. 195000. 195000. Copy, click this and click this, enter to paste that. Make a selection, create a line chart. That's a panel line chart. And the dots are these. These are the dots. Right click the series, change series start type, apply a column in this case. So I see the division over here, perfect. And then I can apply that as a detail like that. No time to apply more designs. I can follow this. That's a panel line panel. That's a line panel. So I can see my comparisons across my employees, product categories, across my dealers, and see that available like that. The only thing I have to take care is I convert that to the simple table, for example, and try to see gaps over here and apply that over here. And that way I can really apply smart designs available, each panel separated like that, and seeing that here, every panel showing the customer label. So I can avoid this customer label there. That was here, for example, and I can pick up the rest. And that should be fine. That shows the answer over here, and that's a clear series for the line panel. So they will overlap if I try to have no gap here. They'll overlap together. And this is a more detailed view of each and every group that I see over here. Forget the product group and customer. That's a top header that is taken. That should be fine. Yeah, I can drag and then change the size also. And that's a fine. That's a straight answer to the answer variable there. Similar shot, if I try a dealer-wise display, for example, I can just keep a copy here and then paste it over here. Without a pivot table, I can create a chart here, which is a tree map in this case, a good display of the distributorship available there, a tree map. So that's large, small pack, large, small units, and the medium size. These are the groups, product groups, for example. Under those, I've got the numbers and the values available here. Whichever does better, for example, suppose I go here and change that to 15, might be a job. That shifts over here, that shifts over here. Control Z, for example, suppose I go to launch, which is here. That shifts here. Let's have one more. Entire set shifts on the left side. See that? That's a change. So that's my categories over here, showing the indicator in the tree map. So in the tree map, so that's a good way to display the report like that. That's how we can display the report like that. And have many more options available there. That gives a fairly good thought available. How can I really expand my Excel knowledge and try to apply that in very different ways, for example, where the takeaways are many for that matter. And the reason we have to know Excel even more.